Well, welcome back, listeners, to Dark Dialogue. So this is kind of a special edition Dark Dialogue, kind of exciting one. So we're going to do things a little bit different tonight. But before we get into that and how we're doing it all and what all's happening and all the stuff, first thing we got to do is talk about how you can help us out a little bit. And that is...
Please.
Like, subscribe, share the show. If you're watching on YouTube, then hit that bell, hit the thumbs up, do all the things, because that engagement is really what helps us get out to more people and grow the show and grow the brand and all the things that we're working hard to try to do. And so if you could do that to help us out, that would be really freaking awesome. And then, so with that, then I'm going to hand it over to Angela. So Angela approached me with an idea about doing this project. It's a little bit different than what we normally do.
What are we going to even call this? Is it going under the main show, or are you going to just do like one-off?
No, it's going to release under the main show.
Dark Dialogue one-offs.
It's gonna release under the main show as a special episode.
Okay.
Yeah. So you approached me with this idea, and you said you had this kind of freaking cool idea. And
I hope it's cool.
It's going to be cool. I'm really freaking excited about it. So why don't you tell us what it is and what we got going on, and just, you just take it.
Okay.
Take it and run with it.
So today is Friday the 13th.
Yes.
Not when this goes out, which I have been asked, why didn't you want to record this before so he can drop it on Friday the 13th? However, there are several Friday the 13ths, and this is something I learned. There's going to be probably 3 this year, because it says, what I read, is if the year starts on a Sunday, and I believe this year did. I think it started on a Sunday. Actually, I can't remember now. No.
I'll look.
Anyway, you can have up to 3 Friday the 13th in a year. So I kind of wanted to do something around Friday the 13th. If there were murders that were cited as Friday the 13th was the reason. It wasn't. It was like Thursday, wasn't it?
Was a Thursday.
Yeah, okay.
It started on the 1st, though.
What? Hey, thanks.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Here to be helpful.
You are. So I told John I also wanted to give him a break. A little bit of a break, because he writes and works, and sometimes at like 3 in the freaking morning because the dude can't sleep.
This is true.
So I decided I wanted to write something a little bit like that so he can sit back and ask the questions and see how it goes.
Yeah.
So while I am not John, who I am now calling the fearless captor of the SS Dark Dialogue.
Captor or captain?
Captain.
Okay.
I did write that correctly, captain. I just said it wrong. I am the first mate, so I will be commandeering the ship for this show, and this might be a one-time event. We'll see how you will feel about that. So first, I want to ask John, do you have any superstitions? Are you superstitious about anything? And I'm pretty sure I know the answer to this.
I don't know. I think setting my cowboy hat upside down, I think that's a superstition.
How do you feel about horseshoes?
I don't buy into it.
You don't buy into it? Okay. See, I didn't figure you would buy into anything.
I don't really think I do. I don't know where it comes from. Maybe it's just been beat into me over years and years and years.
It's not superstition.
Your cowboy hat just goes the right way. There's a superstition about it. I don't think I really believe it.
Do you tell? What is that? Because I don't know that I know it.
So it's kind of like the horseshoe thing, but if you put your cowboy hat
brim side down?
Yeah, like I would call upside down. You always set it down on the crown. Otherwise, the luck runs out if you put it the other way.
I was always told you don't set it that way because you'll mess up the shape of the brim.
It's probably more something like that.
Anyway, well, I'm not trying to ruin it for you. I said, but... So today is Friday the 13th. So let's talk about Friday the 13th, which is a little date on the calendar that does make some of us glance nervously over our shoulders.
Yeah, and I never understood what's up with 13. Are you going to tell us?
I am.
Good.
I am. It makes some people avoid walking under ladders or double check that black cat didn't cross their path. And maybe you may have thrown salt over your left shoulder if you spilled it.
I've heard of that one.
Yeah. So here's the thing.
Okay.
So that fear, it's not born from a single sinister event. It's a strange patchwork of religion, mythology, historical coincidence, and good old human imagination, which we knew. I'm sure we knew.
Yeah, because like hotels and stuff skip the 13th floor.
They skip the 13th floor. When technically, legitimately, the 14th floor is the 13th floor, but
That's
it's
what
a number.
I've always said that makes no sense.
Yes.
Because if you count them, there's a 13th floor.
It's the number, and I'm going to tell you why.
Okay, good.
So, Friday the 13th is a superstition that's been built over centuries, and it's a lot more storytelling than actual danger. So, why does the number 13th or 13 make people feel uneasy, which is what you just asked? And early cultures had a thing for the number 12.
Okay.
12 was definitive. And if you think about it, there's 12 months in a year, there's 12 zodiac signs, 12 Olympian gods. Later, there were 12 apostles. 12 represented completion, balance, and cosmic order. And then 13 showed up and bust through the wall like the Kool-Aid Man and broke that pattern for everybody.
Okay.
So 13 is kind of like the numerical equivalent of a chair in a room. Like if you go in a room and all the chairs are straight but one, it's not dangerous, but it's wrong.
Okay.
It just feels wrong.
I can get on board with that.
That's what 13 is to people. So one of the most cited origins comes from Christian tradition. At the Last Supper, Judas, the disciple who would later betray Jesus, is often said to have been the 13th guest at the table.
Interesting.
And not long after, Jesus was crucified on a Friday.
True.
So, over time, these two ominous details fused in the popular imagination, and suddenly 13 and Friday weren't just numbers or days, they were a warning.
Interesting.
But what did Friday ever do to deserve this reputation? Back in medieval Europe, Friday had a bit of a PR problem. Because some claimed Adam and Eve were expelled from Eden on a Friday.
Really?
Yeah, I did not find an alternate on that, but some do claim that it was a Friday that they were kicked out of Eden.
Interesting.
Others say the Great Flood began on a Friday. Whether historically accurate or not, the stories gave Friday a shadow with a sense of doom created with it. And history does not help. On Friday, October 13th, 1307, King Philip IV of France ordered the mass arrest of the Knights Templar.
I knew that happened.
A wealthy, powerful religious order. Hundreds of them were captured. Many were tortured. Some were executed for heresy.
Many, actually.
Yeah.
There's quite a few of them.
So you can see why Friday the 13th started to feel a little cursed.
Yeah.
So, but here's the real kicker. It's not that Friday the 13th is inherently dangerous. It's that our brains are wired to notice eeriness, mine especially. And so if something bad happens on a date or a time, we remember it. So if nothing happens, like yesterday, how much do you remember about yesterday?
Not much.
Say nothing happened on yesterday. So February 12th, Thursday the 12th, isn't going to ring true to you.
September is that way for me.
September?
Yeah. Bad shit always happens in September.
September's bad for you? Huh. Okay, well, maybe we'll do a story on September.
I'm not. Yeah, I mean, it's like 9/11. There's a whole shit ton. There's a whole shit ton like that. And April is another one.
April? Is it because of April Fools?
I don't know. I mean, like the Titanic sank on April 13th. I think it was April.
Well, I meant 13th, for you.
Then, oh, no.
Oh, it's not you. It's okay.
No, I mean, I have noticed a pattern in the world where bad shit seems to happen more in September and April. And maybe that's just me because I've never investigated it or anything, but to the point that you're making, for whatever reason,
it sticks with you
over my life. That has stuck with me, and it's been like, oh yeah, it's April. Of course, like half the people in the world are going to die. Yeah, it makes sense. It's April or it's September because that's when bad shit happens. I don't know.
I'm glad you said that because believe it or not, there's actually a name for that.
Bad shit happening?
Yes. Psychologists call it confirmation bias when you assume something bad's going to happen because it's September and bad things happen in September. You assume something bad's going to happen on Friday the 13th because bad things have happened on Friday the 13th. So, ironically, some studies suggest that accidents actually don't rise.
Isn't that interesting?
On Friday the 13th because we're freaked out. We drive slower. We care more about what we're doing. We're more careful. So the superstition
doesn't hold.
It doesn't hold to a point. It feeds itself, essentially. By the 19th and the 20th centuries, newspapers, novels, and eventually horror films poured gasoline on the legend. So today, Friday the 13th is less about actual danger and more about a cultural thrill. A day when being on the edge is almost fun.
Yeah, so was the guy with the fingers
Freddy?
Was that Friday?
No, that's Nightmare on Elm Street. Jason was, and I'll talk about
the hockey player dude.
Yes,
okay.
The hockey man.
I'm not a horror movie guy, so sorry, I'm an idiot when it comes to that stuff. But
because at its core, the power of Friday the 13th isn't about fate, it's about storytelling. It's about the craving for patterns, and especially faced with mortality. Death gives the myth weight, but imagination keeps it alive. And of course, with the amount of anxiety I carry around all the time, I'm not immune to superstition, and I'm not gonna name them all, but I'm not immune. And to that I will say duh. So rewind about 100 years back to when I turned 19 and was being told that I was going to be removed from my dad's medical insurance because back then it was at the 19. And I was like, but tomorrow's Friday the 13th. So the day after my 19th birthday was Friday the 13th.
Oh, wow.
I kid you not. I legit did not leave the house at all because I was like, something is going to happen that I don't have medical coverage for. So I will say I've since gotten a little better about my superstitions, and I have obtained my own medical insurance.
Yay.
Yeah. So I'm out and about today. But I have a few stories. So what I decided to do was try to find some stories where people cited Friday the 13th as their reason for killing.
Oh, interesting.
I found some of those. I also found some that, well, we'll just get to it.
So before we jump into that, is there any like occultic tie to Friday the 13th?
There is ritual. Well,
so my guess would be that because of it, they started using it?
They use it.
Okay.
They use it. So, and actually, it's kind of interesting that you brought that up because one of the stories I'm going to tell kind of talks about, I don't tell a lot, so this is kind of like set up like your shadow chats. Like I am only giving a little bit of the stories just in case you want to go into them deeper later.
Sure.
So if you have questions I may or may not know the answers to them, and you may or may not know more than me.
Well, we're going to find out.
Some of these have had shows done about them. Okay. So you might recognize some of them. But the very first one I want to speak on is Mark Branch.
Okay.
So 18-year-old Sharon Gregory was everything that you'd hope to be at that age. She was bright, kind, and just beginning her future. She was a freshman psychology major at Greenfield Community College in Massachusetts. And she was especially close with her twin sister, Cheryl, which really was hard for me in this Cheryl thing. I was getting them confused when I
bet.
Yeah. So I thank her parents for that, by the way. So for a class project, or maybe simple curiosity or both, Sharon had been studying a 19-year-old local grocery clerk named Mark Branch. And Mark was unsettling. He was obsessed with horror films, not just casually, Employees at the local video store said he rented only the goriest movies that they had, and his favorite was Friday the 13th. The masked killer, Jason Voorhees, the stalking, the violence. But Mark's disturbing behavior wasn't limited to movie nights. As a teen, he had frightened classmates. He wrote obscene notes to girls, and he even pulled a knife on a female classmate. He had a history of psychiatric treatment and had reportedly harmed small animals, which is always the chilling warning sign that we recognize today.
Yeah, it's part of the homicidal triad, but they don't call it that anymore. I can't remember what they call it. Do you remember?
I don't.
Yeah, it used to be the homicidal triad, which was like bedwetting, fire starting, and
cruelty to animals.
Cruelty to animals, yeah. So the FBI came out with as part of the homicidal triad that this is one of the things they can recognize within serial killers that they all have in common. That doesn't mean they all had all three of those, but that
It
triad.
ruined it for me because now in my brain I was like, oh, think of a young Ted Bundy wet in the bed. You know,
I think
to tease him about it.
Actually, I think he was one of the bedwetters.
I think he was too.
Yeah.
So on October 24th, so this does not take place on Friday the 13th, but we'll get to how it's involved. Well, we kind of already foreshadowed it. On October 24th, 1988, Mark allegedly took his obsession with Friday the 13th movie the worst step imaginable. Wearing black boots and a hockey mask, he went to Sharon's apartment. Later that night, Cheryl came home and made a discovery that no one should ever make. Sharon had been brutally stabbed in the upstairs bathroom. Cheryl immediately told the police about Mark, saying that he made Sharon very uneasy just by looking at her. A neighbor confirmed that someone matching his description had been seen in the home for a few minutes earlier. And when investigators searched Mark's apartment, what they found felt less like a bedroom and more like a shrine to violence. Dozens of slasher films, stacks of books about killers, multiple hockey masks, knives, and a machete. But one thing was missing from both his place and Sharon's place was Sharon's psychological profile on him. It was never recovered.
Interesting.
Yeah, never recovered. So days later, Mark's car turned up abandoned about 13 miles away with blood inside. There's the 13 again.
Right.
Launching a massive manhunt. With Halloween approaching, fear spread quickly, parades were canceled, trick-or-treating was moved to daylight hours, and the town sort of held its breath to get past Halloween. By Halloween passing, Mark was still gone. And then more than a month after Sharon's murder, a deer hunter discovered Mark hanging from a pine tree in the woods. His death was ruled a suicide, believed to have occurred shortly after Sharon was killed. So even after it was over, headlines focused heavily on this horror movie obsession, especially with the Friday the 13th connection, raising uneasy questions about fantasy, fixation, and what happens when the line between them disappears. And in the center of it all was Sharon, a young woman with her entire life ahead of her, lost to someone she had simply just tried to understand.
Wow.
And he just decided, you're my first, but last too, because then he decided he couldn't take it.
So, a couple things.
Okay.
One, this is like right as we're in the midst of the satanic panic and that whole thing. So I have to imagine that, you know, that played very much into it. And then second of all, this is probably your opportunity to yell at me, but are those like gory movies? I've never watched one.
Friday the 13th slasher. Yeah.
Like, are they like, I mean, I gotta believe that they're like 80s gory, not like
100%.
I mean, they're not like,
they've made a billion of them, so there's been a few out when cinematic theater's gotten better, but yeah, it's 80s gore.
So is that like, so I mean, like Saw is like about those shows are freaking sick.
Saw, I don't like the slashers as much as I like the psychological scary
I don't know
ghost stuff.
I don't like any of those. I like Children of the Corn.
Psychological.
That was a pretty good one but scared the shit out of me when I was a kid. But you know, like the dude with the things on his fingers.
Freddy, yeah.
Yeah. That's those. What'd you call that one?
Nightmare on Elm Street.
That
I've actually never seen all those.
I've never seen any of them.
Yeah.
And then like the little doll dude.
Chucky.
Yeah. And the
Annabelle.
Friday the 13th.
Friday the 13th.
Those
Halloween is Michael Myers.
I thought that's who we were talking about.
No, we're talking about Friday the 13th. Jason Voorhees.
Jason Voorhees. So is it true, the Scream thing, that in the original it was his mom?
Yes.
Okay. I know
Scream.
nothing.
That's Friday the 13th. Jason Voorhees. In the original, it was his mom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
because
then,
they picked on her little boy.
oh,
He was bullied.
don't know.
Yeah, he was bullied. They picked on her.
And then I watched one of the Halloweens when it was like years and years later when they did like a re-release.
The Rob Zombie version with his wife in it.
No, it had what's her name in it? The original actress,
Jamie Lee Curtis.
Jamie Lee Curtis.
She's been in a ton though. So
it was like H2O. I'm pretty sure that was the name of it.
well, she was a principal.
I don't have a clue.
Yeah.
I saw it at the drive-in. It was like a special double feature for Halloween, and I took a girl to the drive-in.
Wasn't one of the best.
Yeah, I don't remember, but I don't know a damn thing about those movies. And then the other thing I wanted to mention is, like suicide is like a really big deal, and if you're having problems, like call somebody, get some help, do all the things. There's people you can talk to. Mm-hmm. If it's between killing yourself and killing somebody else, just go kill yourself.
I love your disclaimer before that, by the way.
Seriously, well, I don't want nobody to like kill themselves unless you're planning on killing somebody else, in which case
take yourself out.
Go kill yourself. Like,
yeah,
the whole murder thing, I investigate all these crimes and everything. We talk about all this shit, and
murder suicide's annoying as hell.
I don't understand any of them, but the ones where you go kill yourself after,
yeah.
It's like, just do that first. Come on.
Yeah.
Just let the poor girl live her life and go hang yourself.
Yeah. Sharon could have had a great life.
Yes. And it's so frustrating because, and it's always, I don't know a lot about this girl, but it's always the same. It's like super sweet girl. And they're like, she didn't have an enemy in the world and she was so wonderful. And then this piece of shit kills her. And then takes himself out. It's like, just skip to the end.
Yeah.
Just go do that part first.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Thank you for that. I'm ready for the next one.
Okay. So the next one is Kenneth Glenn Milner. I was kind of expecting that one to.
I don't know. You'll have to tell me. I'll see if it kind of seems like it rings a bell, but.
Does Panhandle, Texas ring a bell?
Maybe.
Okay. So Friday, July 13th, 1990, in Panhandle, Texas, 19-year-old Kenneth Glenn Milner was obsessed with killers. Manson, Jack the Ripper, and his room reflected it as well. His walls were painted black. He had slasher posters everywhere. Gory Halloween masks. He took Halloween masks and made them worse.
Gotcha.
And he even had a staged corpse that later, when the investigators entered his room, thought it was actually a dead body.
Oh, that's
But it was
weird.
just a staged corpse that he built. So a handwritten list surfaced of Milner's plan, and it was deliberate. He had left a cryptic note that led police. Well, I say police. He left it for his friend. Police found it, and it led them to a hidden cache. A military-style ammo box, and inside that were letters detailing his desire to kill, and a videotaped confession. So the letters were actually written to his best friend that was supposed to find it, and then he was supposed to find the cache, and then he was supposed to get those letters and the videotaped confession to somebody else. I don't exactly.
Gotcha.
His parents and his ex-girlfriend were part of the letters that were in it, but in his videotaped confession, his sign-off, he was explaining to everybody why he was doing this, but the very last thing he says is Happy Friday the 13th.
Wow.
So he did this because of that. He was heavy into ritualistic, satanic things, and I'm not exactly sure what, because like I said, I didn't deep dive just in case we do. What brand of satanic he was involved in. I'm not sure.
I can pretty well guarantee it. You said it was 1990?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was all the same pretty much back then. When it comes to Satanism, Wicca has been around forever, and some people say that Wicca is Satanism, but it's
supposed to be peaceful.
Well, Wicca is not Satanism at all. But like the Satanism of the late 80s and early 90s was all the same brand. Okay. It was full on. It was like Satanism. It was this Anton LaVey's satanic bullshit Bible nonsense.
He did have that Bible,
of course
too.
He did. They all did.
Yeah, he had that Bible.
And I've told you what I think about Anton LaVey.
Yeah.
He's such a freaking dipshit.
His first target was 17-year-old Frankie Garcia, was a friend who trusted him.
Of course.
Of course it was, wasn't it? Milner lured Frankie to an abandoned barn that the locals called the Haunted House, which is where he shot him. And he did claim that it was part of a satanic ritual. But he didn't stop there. So his ex-girlfriend's stepfather, the reason they're exes is because he didn't want her dating this guy. Because he had the handsome, but he just
had a creep vibe.
Yeah.
Bleh. And Dad was like, that dude creeps me out and he's going to rape and murder you.
Yes.
So, yeah.
So he broke them up. So he was the next victim. His name was Jimmy Britton. And Glenn went up to the house staging a fake car trouble issue. Like, I know you don't like me, dude, but my car broke down. Like, can I use the phone? Blah, blah, blah. Not really wanting to, but he did let him, because he knew him.
Right. Yeah.
He let him in to use the phone just to get him out of there. Well, he stabbed him multiple times. However, he did survive. And once he left there, he went to the home of his former high school principal, Ken Williams, who he was trying to get in the house. He was banging on the door, and Ken kept saying, I'm not going to let you in. Like,
smart
go away, Glenn. I'm not letting you in. Because it was like 2-ish in the morning, too. He's like, there's no student principal thing that needs to happen at 2:30 in the morning. You're freaking me out. Go away. And his wife and kids were in the house, too. So Glenn fired 2 shots through the door. They hit Williams, but he did live. His wife actually went up and stuck her finger in the hole in his stomach to help stop the bleeding while she called 911.
Wow.
This woman. So the rampage finally ended with him at around 4:30 in the morning when the police actually found him sitting outside the Panhandle Police Department with a gun to his head, his own head. He surrendered later, telling authorities that he failed to take his own life because he had, quote, forgotten the words to the ritual he was supposed to say. And he was afraid to take his own life without completing that ritual.
What a dipshit.
Exactly. So Milner pled guilty and received 3 life sentences for murder and attempted capital murder. And despite legal challenges over the years, he remains behind bars in Texas.
And he probably will, because Texas keeps them.
His parole is most recently denied. A brutal reminder that sometimes the most dangerous fantasies aren't confined to movies, and that even the smallest towns can wake up to unimaginable horror inspired by the Angela Talks Take 2, inspired by the unimaginable obsession and dates like the Friday the 13th.
Yeah, I didn't know that story.
Yeah, I cannot believe it because there was actually a lot of investigation discoveries on him.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't think I've heard that one. If I did, I don't remember it. It sounds like one that I definitely would have remembered.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, I've always had this. Well, I think that it really comes from the fact that FBI profilers, most notably John Douglas, have pretty much said that they've never seen an actual case of ritual homicide.
Oh.
And so every time I hear one of those stories,
You look them up?
Yeah, because I'm interested. And I think really where the delineation goes is what I think that they're talking about, people like John Douglas, is they've never actually seen like a cult of actual Satanists that,
have strung somebody up and disemboweled them with all.
Well, that actually ritualistically murder somebody. There's been multiple cases like this dipshit of people that claim to be Satanists and use that as an excuse to commit murder.
Yeah.
And there is a difference there.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this guy, though, he tended to believe like he was, because he'd rather go to jail than kill himself because he was afraid he'd got the incantation wrong because he couldn't remember all the words to it.
Yeah, it's like Ramirez.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing, but it just comes down to a sick freaking murderer that just finds this as an excuse to do it as opposed to whatever other bullshit they come up with.
Exactly.
But it's not like they're actually ritualistically sacrificing babies to Satan. Mm-hmm. It's like, I'm going to go kill my school principal because he pissed me off. And being a Satanist is a good reason to do it. You know what I mean? It's not like...
I didn't dive into why his principal was on the list or his friend, for that matter.
It's amazing how many of these stories like this
start with a friend,
include friends that like trust them. And there's like no reason to kill them.
It's because they can get them out.
Yeah. It's because they want to kill.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with being Satanists. That's my point, I guess.
So now we fast forward to September 13th, 2024.
See, September and Friday the 13th, that's a really bad
one. In Luton, England, 19-year-old Nicholas Prosper had a plan to become infamous as a school shooter. And that's verbatim his words. He wanted to be infamous as a school shooter.
What a dipshit.
But first, he turned on the people closest to him. In the early hours of the morning, Prosper used a shotgun that he bought illegally to murder his mother, Juliana Falcon, who was 48, and along with his younger siblings, 16-year-old Kyle and 13-year-old Giselle, inside their family home. Investigators believe his plan unraveled when something disrupted the timeline, because after the killings, he left home armed and intended to carry out a mass shooting targeting children and teachers. But the disruption was neighbors had already raised the alarm because they heard the commotion. So he hid for a time, ditched the weapon, and was arrested by police before he could reach the school. Prosper later pleaded guilty to 3 counts of murder and weapons charges. He was sentenced to life in prison with a minimum term of 49 years. So he will likely be an elderly man before he's ever considered for release.
We'll hope so.
Yeah. The judge described the crime as beyond words, quote, a brutal attack that devastated a family and shocked an entire community, end quote. And in a chilling twist, authorities did reveal that the murders were never meant to be the end goal, but the beginning of something even worse because of his quote. And I'm not sure where that quote came from, that he wanted to be infamous as a school shooter. This is your goal, dude?
Yeah, that's so freaking bizarre.
You wake up one morning, I want to be like Columbine. What?
You know that, Columbine has triggered so many of these freaking nut jobs.
Yeah.
And it's so bizarre to me. Like,
there's so many ways to be infamous, and they don't involve killing people.
But, how do I say this to not sound like a freaking whack job? But, you're like... There's some murders that, like, I could never be a murderer. I just don't have it in me. But
I appreciate that.
There's, like, some murders that you're like, okay, whatever. You're going to rob a place and end up shooting somebody or something. It has, something happened.
Collateral damage.
You're a piece of shit, but you got yourself in an even bigger pile of shit than...
Yeah.
But to, like, be like, I really, really want to go shoot a bunch of innocent people that have never done anything.
I want to go down in the books as the most infamous school shooter.
So weird to me. It's just so bizarre.
Disgusting is what it is.
Yeah, it's the Daily Wire. Daily Wire, they have like movies now. Mm-hmm. They're making movies.
Yeah.
One of them is about this school shooter. Have you seen that one? I think it's called Run, Hide, Fight.
Yes. Yeah, they make them record it all on their phones, yeah.
And at the end, she
a pretty decent movie.
Puts an end to the son of a bitch. Mm-hmm. Her dad was like a military sniper or something, and she gets his gun and just goes and fights the dude down in the creek. And it's like, yeah, that's the message we need to send. Mm-hmm. Like, okay, yeah, go into these schools and we are going to hunt you down and kill you.
We will fight back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Most Friday the 13th passed without incident, but on one in 1973 in Worcester, England, something happened that would horrify the entire nation. So we're crossing the pond again.
Yeah, I don't cross the pond very much. I'm glad that you are.
Yeah, just a little bit. His name was David McGreevy, and he was just 20 years old. He was a young man struggling with job losses, a broken engagement, and he had nowhere to live. So a friend took him in, welcoming into a home that he shared with his pregnant wife and their small children, 2 at the time. McGreevy paid rent, helped with meals, babysat often, and by all appearances adored the kids until one night changed. Friday the 13th, what did I say? 1974?
I thought you said 73. Maybe it was
73?
So I thought you said.
Yep, 1973.
Yeah.
Friday the 13th, 1973, McGreevy had been drinking heavily before returning home to watch the children alone. Sometime between late evening and midnight, the sound of a crying baby seemed to push him past his breaking point. So she had the baby by then. By the time the parents returned, police were already there. All 3 children had been murdered.
Oh, God.
9-month-old Samantha, 4-year-old Paul, and 2-year-old Dawn. This one probably should come with a disclaimer. This is not a good story.
It's a terrible one.
Yeah. Each killed in a different way, different and deeply violent. But what shocked investigators even more was what came next. In an act that stunned the country, McGreevy had mutilated the bodies after, and I believe he drowned one of them. He strangulated the other. Strangulated? Strangled, yeah. Why am I struggling?
I don't know.
Strangulated one of them, and I can't remember what he did with the last one, but then he mutilated all of them and displayed them on a neighbor's wrought iron fence.
Dear Lord.
Yeah. The quiet street of Rainbow Hill would never be the same. Police found McGreevy wandering hours later. He quickly confessed, reported saying, it was me, but it wasn't me. All I could hear was kids. And that was a direct quote.
What
Dubbed
freaking nut bar.
Yeah. Dubbed the monster of Worcester? Yeah.
Yeah, sounds right.
And sometimes the real Friday the 13th killer. He was sentenced to multiple life terms after decades behind bars and repeated parole denials. McGreevy was finally released in 2019 under strict, quote, life license conditions, end quote. And I knew you were going to ask. So that means he will remain under these conditions for the rest of his life. And if he breaks them, it will result in immediate return to prison. His conditions are a strict curfew. He's required to wear a GPS monitor. He's banned from entering the city of Worcester and the specific area where the children's mother currently lives. I don't know what happened to Dad. I didn't dive into it.
Yeah, and you might not have been able to find it because England has some very, very strict rules about
hiding people.
Yeah.
Privacy. Yeah.
Yep.
So he must also live at a designated address, comply with supervision, and maintain good behavior. Currently, his designated address is a hostel. I did find that out.
Well, this piece of shit needs to be in prison the rest of his life. He should have never gotten out.
This was a crime so senseless, so brutal, that decades later it remains one of Britain's most disturbing cases.
Yeah.
And a chilling reminder that sometimes the real horror has nothing to do with superstition and everything to do with what humans are capable of.
Boy, that's the freaking truth.
Yeah. So as I have said, I'm not John. My shows aren't as long as John's going to be. So I'm going to round this out now with something a little bit lighter.
Okay.
We're going to go a little bit lighter. And that is actually an interesting one I'm kind of excited to talk about. So before you triple check your locks tonight or blame your bad day on Friday the 13th, I'll lighten this mood by telling you there is a group of people who actually celebrate
that does not
Friday the
surprise
13th.
me.
And it's tattoo artists.
Do they get busy on Friday the 13th? I
Well,
guess that makes sense.
While the rest of the world is avoiding ladders and side-eyeing black cats, tattoo shops are throwing open their doors for what's basically the Super Bowl of ink, the Friday the 13th Tattoo Marathon. The tradition is often traced back to tattoo artist Oliver Peck.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who decided back in 1995 that the best way to face bad luck was to stab it repeatedly with a needle.
Nice.
In 2008, he even set a world record by tattooing the number 13 on 415 people in just 24 hours.
Wow.
Which honestly raises more questions about human stamina than superstition.
I don't. If it was Oliver Peck, then I would proudly wear his ink. But most people, I would not want them tattooing me after they've been awake for 24 hours.
Right?
You know,
that's like.
I mean, if it was like Oliver Peck or something, even if it was jacked up, you could be like, "That's an Oliver Peck original."
Peck, man, you take pictures while it's happening. But the idea actually goes back even further. So sailors once tattooed 13 on themselves as a way to ward off bad luck at sea. Kind of like telling fate, nice try, but I'm already cursed. Some artists jokingly subscribe to a little reverse psychology. If bad luck sees a 13 already on your body, it assumes its work here is done and it moves along to someone else.
Interesting.
So every Friday the 13th, people line up, sometimes for hours, to get these tiny tattoos. So if Oliver Peck gave us the Friday the 13th tattoo marathon, the flash sheets are where the real personality shows up. If you walk into almost any tattoo shop on Friday the 13th, which my tattoo artist in Gillette, they did one. I love watching their posts because not only do they do the Friday the 13th tattoos, but they like feed the people while you're waiting. Like you're not waiting.
Oh, really? So it's like a whole big deal.
Like tables of food they posted today. Like you're not just sitting there bored out of your mind waiting. Like you're having fun at this place.
That's cool.
Anyway, so I would highly recommend them, and someday I might say their name on.
I don't know that I would ever do Flash.
Well, we'll get to that.
It's my turn to foreshadow your stories.
Yeah.
Perfect.
It is. So all of the tiny designs on the walls on Friday the 13th have one rule. The number 13 has to be visible somewhere, either hidden in a collar of something, etched in a blade, tucked in a gravestone. Artists always find a way to put it in there. The artwork leans classic old school tattoo style with a heavy wink towards superstition. So you're thinking black cats with glowing eyes, broken mirrors, upside down horseshoes. Apparently for John, a hat sat incorrectly. Basically, every symbol your superstitious aunt ever warned you about.
And if Oliver Peck kicked this off, it better be freaking American traditional.
Right. Old school tattoo style. So there's the cheerful reminder that we're all mortal. So they have little coffins, skulls, cartoonishly friendly Grim Reapers, because nothing says fun Friday activity quite like bonding with tiny representation of death. Traditional tattoo favorites get makeovers too: daggers, dice, 8 balls, playing cards, all redesigned to look just a little more cursed than usual. And of course, pop culture sneaks in: the hockey masks, the machetes, the subtle nods to Friday the 13th films. And it's ironic, on a day that people associate with misfortune, thousands voluntarily line up to permanently stamp bad luck onto their bodies. And maybe that's the point. If you can laugh at the curse, it doesn't seem quite so scary. Originally, the tradition was that these tattoos cost $13 with a $7 lucky tip. So they started out as $20 for this tiny little, and I'd say what I saw, the original one started out like inch by inch or 2 inch.
Right.
They were not big at all. Inflation has entered the chat now. They're around like $60 now. But the spirit remains the same: cheap ink, questionable decisions, and great stories. So while history shows us that Friday the 13th can carry plenty of darkness, it also proves something else. Humans have a funny habit of laughing in the face of fear and occasionally commemorating it permanently on their bodies. Because nothing says, I refuse to be controlled by superstition, quite like voluntarily getting one of these tattoos. So now, the foreshadowing. If you were to ever get one, what would it be?
Oh, wow. Like a flash tattoo?
A Friday the 13th tattoo. What would you succumb to?
I don't think I'd ever get anything. I mean, on Ink Master, Dave Navarro got this pretty freaking cool planchette from a Ouija board. He got that tattoo.
Yeah.
That would be a pretty badass Flash Friday the 13th-ish kind of tattoo. But
I have a feeling to make it badass, you'd have to go back and have them add to it, because it would just be a generic planchette for Friday the 13th, because they don't get too detailed.
Well, and see, that's the problem that I have with Flash altogether, is like when I'm working on a tattoo, I'm thinking about my tattoo design usually for years before I ever ink it. And so the idea that I'm just going to walk into a shop and be like, I want that on my body for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
I'm not that guy. I've just
done
not
it twice.
That way.
Not necessarily flash. I did it at a wedding. I got 2 randomly at a wedding, but
yeah, I've never, I mean, the one on my forearm is as close as I have to like a flash tattoo. It was less than an hour in and out, but it's my family brand.
Yeah.
So there's like a meaning to it, you know? And like I'm working on a back piece that I want done. I've been working on that for years. And between like deciding exactly what I want and the exact artist that I want to do it, like I put a lot of thought into my tattoos. I just don't know that I could ever just walk in and be like,
let's do it.
Yeah, that. I'm going to find it in a book. I know that probably 100,000 other people have this exact tattoo on them. Yeah, that's what I want on me. It's not me.
Would you let somebody hide a 13 in there though for bad luck to think, oh, I've already got him and move on?
I mean, no. Well, I would never believe that bullshit. I have no problem having a 13 on my body. I also have no like particular reason to have a 13. Like I don't believe in it at all. So it wouldn't affect me one way or the other.
So he's not going to be fun with us and go get Friday the 13th tattoos.
No, probably
Damn
not.
It.
I told you I'd get a Dark Dialogue tattoo.
That's true. We're down for that. Friday the 13th shows us a lot about human nature. Our brains seek patterns, our imagination fills gaps, and our fascination with death and danger drives stories that last for centuries. From superstitions to obsessions, from horror films to true crime, and yes, even tattoos, Friday the 13th remains a cultural mirror. It's dark, it's eerie, it's funny, and it's undeniably human. So whether you hide under a blanket tonight, or avoid cracks in the sidewalk so you don't break your mother's back, or line up for a little ink, remember, fear is powerful, but curiosity is unstoppable.
Very much true.
That's what I have for you.
That was freaking awesome. That was a ton of fun. I really enjoyed it. Yeah.
I did too.
Yeah, that was cool. Yeah, I think it's something we should do more of.
We'll take a vote.
Okay, take a vote. Let us know on our socials.
Do you want more, Angela, or should I shut up?
No, nobody wants you to shut up. All right, well, that's all you got?
That's all I got.
Okay, so...
I told you it wasn't going to be as big of a show as yours, but...
That's all right. I mean, we're still about 50 minutes.
Getting my feet wet.
Yeah, I think you did a great job.
Thank you.
But if you like that episode, share it. Give us a like, give us a follow, leave us a review.
Tell us what flash you would get.
Absolutely. Hit the thumbs up, hit the bell, do all of the things. Be sure to check out all our other shows. We got Dark Dialogue Main Show. We got Dark Dialogue Rocky Mountain Reckoning, Unraveled Truths, Shadow Chat Sessions, Distilled, all of the things. You can find all the information for those at www.darkdialogue.com. And if you want to reach out to us for questions, kudos, case suggestions, tell us that we're idiots, whatever the case may be, you can send those to info@darkdialogue.com. Did I miss anything?
Stay safe, everybody.
Have a great night. Thank you.